everybody. Whoa! Some might say 2021 was one hell of a shitty year, but if you worked at RG Adoption Consulting, you might think otherwise. I am a little under the weather. Can you, tell me if you're anything like me? I get a cold. I must test for COVID. My throat hurts. I don't know if I have a fever because I have this cockamamie thermometer that I put in one ear and it says one thing, and I put in the other ear and it says another thing. But I went yesterday and I tested negative for COVID, and then I went to an urgent care and paid this ridiculous $80 copay to get a strep test, which I also tested negative for because my sister's coming in today, so I was like, oh my God, I gotta know that I don't have any of the things. I take my temperature every 5 minutes, and I feel like I need to take more strep and COVID tests. Anybody like me? Oh, maybe I should take another COVID test now. Maybe I should take one now. Can anybody relate here? I have been trying to bring back affirmations into my life because I know the power of affirmations and saying them out loud every single day. And so, we're only on day 7, but I've brought back some affirmations into my life. And one of them, speaking about vacations and travel, was I am going to travel this year to Florida, to Bali, to Mexico, and to California to go visit my son's birth father. I want to do that. And I'd love to go to Utah as well, but those are the ones that I am focused on, so I'm putting it out there. I'm going to make it happen. Quick story about affirmations. That's kind of how I started RG Adoption Consulting. I was working at a job. So for those of you who don't know, and by the way, hello, I'm Becca Greenspan. I am the founder and CEO of RG Adoption Consulting. I started this business in 2013 while I was working, I had another full-time job. I was a new mom of a 2-year-old, and I was working full-time and doing this on nights and weekends. And I was miserable at my job. I couldn't stand it anymore. And so I picked a date, but I started this business while I was there, and I was beyond grateful that I had a full-time job that was paying my bills and allowing me to start a business, my passion business that I knew I wanted to do because of how much passion I had. And so every day I set a date. To me, when I was working full-time and I started this business, when I had got my first client, I think that first year I worked with 3 people, I thought I was the shit, you guys. I thought, wow, I've made it. People are paying me to help them on this journey. I feel so privileged and honored, and I've got 3 people. Fast forward now, I think we're working with 130 something among all of our team and the different ways that you can work with RG Adoption Consulting because I manifested it. But every day I said, I will go full-time with RG Adoption Consulting on October 1st, 2013. I think it was October 1st, 2013. On September 30th, I was let go from my job. And people thought I was crazy putting out this date. And I would say, I'm not quitting my job. I can't quit my job, but I think I could get fired so that I could get all the benefits still and unemployment. I'm not gonna try to get let go, but I could just feel it in my bones that that's how it's gonna work out. People are like, Becca, you don't have a pot to piss in. Excuse my French. You can't leave this job and count on this new business of yours to go full time. And I was like, I'll worry about that later. I'm just setting the intention. On the exact day that I said that affirmation every single day for I don't know for how long, 6 months, to the day, I went full-time with RG Adoption Consulting on October 1st, 2013. Or maybe it wasn't 2013. Maybe it was, I think it was a couple years later because I think I worked part-time in the business for a couple years first. So it was probably 2015 or something like that. But it was to the exact date that I set in my intentions. So intentions are very powerful. Whether you believe in setting goals or or setting how you want to feel, or setting a word for the year. I think it's always good to set something that resonates with you, that you want to be fulfilling in your life, and really connecting with how these, what makes you feel good and doing more of that. So you guys, 2021, what a fucking weird year. Am I allowed to swear? That was a weird year. Single moms stopped getting chosen, legit, pretty much at all. Nobody was taking single moms anymore. Agency lists were filling up to like 200 people, and then they stopped taking families. No situations were being sent out. Then all of a sudden December hits, and every other match was a single mom. And by the way, we had 12 matches in December. I think a quarter of them, or a third of them, or something like that, were single moms. So suddenly, December was this crazy record month. I can't even keep track, but we're at January 7th, and I think we've already had at least 3 matches, and I think 1 adoption in the first week. And I really hope, because somebody told me that the way you end something is the way you begin it. So praise be. I hope that that's the truth, because we ended really strong, and I'm feeling like we're starting really strong. You should see our group chats within our team. We have a channel. I don't know if anybody uses Slack, but we have a channel in Slack called Wins, and there's nothing better than when that channel lights up and you're like, oh my God, what is it today? So that's been really fun. So I'm telling you all of this because I see things changing. Now, I also heard that there's another strand of COVID. I also know that the hospitals are crazy busy and full, and COVID is on a rise higher than it's ever been. And I know how much that affected people, or affected this whole industry. It affected us the first time. When COVID first started, adoptions were through the roof. Like, I was screaming for the rooftops. If you were thinking about adoption, do it right now, because every other day there's a new adoption happening. Which on the one hand was super sad, because women were feeling really desperate and not knowing what to do. So the reasons were awful. And then it stopped because government money was coming out. This is my theory. I don't know. This is the theory of a lot of people. Government money was coming out. Well, I don't know what's going to happen now, but I think that's stopped, and that might have something to do, and maybe people are just feeling a little over it, and so they're being more social. Whatever the reason, and why are single women suddenly getting chosen again? I don't know. But we see these trends. Last year was a boy year. All boys. I swear to God, every match and every adoption was a boy. If you were waiting for a girl, you most likely didn't match. This year so far, it's been girls. I've seen situations come through about adoption situations for matching girls. Baby being born, was supposed to be a boy, it was a girl. So no rhyme or reason. This month, every month we have a new theme to kind of what we talk about in our post on our business page, RG Adoption Consulting Facebook page, and also in Instagram. If you're not following us, if you haven't liked us, please do. I encourage you. One of our core values is education and community. We want you to find a safe space to celebrate your journey. So if you are a hopeful parent and you're not already in our hopeful adoption, the adoption roadmap group for hopeful parents, it's a group that we have on Facebook for any hopeful parent. Please join it. We have made it a very positive space for you, and it's been really supportive. And education, so we're always trying to educate you and put out some content that will help you in some way. And this month, we are dedicating ourselves to best practices for your adoption journey, in adoption in general. And I think one of the first ones that we shared is having a counselor or a therapist that you can talk to about your adoption journey. And I'll tell you why. If you're one of my clients, you've probably heard me say this before, and if you're not, I'll tell you, it's not a matter of if. It's absolutely a matter of when you will need to talk to somebody. You will want to have somebody to call, and you're not going to know who to call. So start now at the beginning of your journey to find somebody who is an adoption competent therapist who you can call upon beyond just your consultant. We can help to a certain extent, but we're not therapists. Who you can call upon when you get stuck, when your own fears and your own traumas and your own shit comes creeping in and you don't know how to deal with it, but you're feeling like you don't know how to be a parent right now to this child and you have no idea what they're acting out. Is that adoption related, or is that just every child? Going through the journey, openness, that might be a trigger for you. Naming the baby. When an expectant mom has a name that she likes, that might be a trigger for you. If you have other children, how to incorporate that into your lives, how to talk about that, about the different ways that you came into our family. That might be something that you're struggling with. There's so many things, and I'll tell you, as your child gets older, it becomes way more complicated. I wish someone would have told me these things, which is why I'm sharing with you. And most people don't do it because they think, no, I'm good. And then what happens a lot of time is that you don't feel supportive, and you feel and you go into it, you wallow in the corner by yourself, and you get pissed off at the world, and you think nobody has your back, and you're wondering why you're so angry and why you don't trust that this process will work for you. And likely it's a lot of stuff coming up for you that you haven't spent the time to really pay attention to. So that's one best practice. I'll leave it at that. I've been talking too long already. I don't want to hop off without saying that we have an amazing webinar that you can access at any time now. It's called 3 Strategies to Adopting Your Baby During Challenging Times, plus a proven roadmap to get you started. The webinar goes through a lot of really great tips for you and how to approach your adoption journey if you're just getting started. And then at the end, we do talk about our Adoption Roadmap Academy. So if you've been following us, you'll see that lately there's been a couple people who either adopted or matched who we're not working with privately, but they're inside of our Adoption Roadmap Academy, which is our online course. So if you want to learn more about that, if you just want to learn more about the adoption journey in general, go sign up for that. You can pick a time and listen into that. We would always be delighted to be the ones to walk alongside you on your journey in whatever way feels good for you. Otherwise, I just wish you a happy new year. Write out those affirmations, set those intentions, know how you want to feel this year, and go get it done. Love to all. Oh, how do I end?